draft. Team Goon, of course, opting to go towards the Gangplank instead. With Lulu available, that was what XY was looking at. Very interesting stuff. 2 seconds left remaining on the clock. Masters 3.
Once you're in with Blitz.
Well, there's the pillow. He immediately gets exhausted. Pacemaker's going to land. That's the knock-up. Lots of damage. He's got heaps of health. I mean, mana, sorry. So that shield was pretty huge, but they managed to pick up the kill. The Mystic shot from Romantic's good. Explosive shot going to go off. Crisis decides to soak some of that damage. Tilt is a powerful tool. Can get the best of us sometimes. But YOLO, he's looking for the gank here on the bottom side. This is exactly what we were talking about. Got to utilize that Graves to try and get this bottom lane going. Savoki
Here we go.
Yeah, found himself in the bottom lane already. The Ignite's down. Nice flash to get away from a lot of that damage as the grab finally gets pulled. Jezza gets flashed on. YOLO picks up the kill. Glad he had his flash. Thankfully, he didn't use it to grab a blue buff earlier on. And Romantic now.
In the mid lane, Raphael just 1v1 Republic one more time.
What?
Able to grab a kill as Lulu. You know, we were speaking yesterday about the fact that you should not die again, as a Lulu against an Ezreal. The same rule applies. Lulu should not be able to kill you if you're a Victor, but he does.
Still had his Ghost available as well, did Republic. Just shows Raphael knows a little bit about Victor. Explosions, though, underneath this turret. As M3 are doing the very best they can to push this one out.
Well, this is what we said they want to do, be able to shove that bottom lane in. Then just put the big bullseye on Trundle. See how many times you can grab him out from underneath that turret. No wave clear available. Makes it very hard on the side of EPA to be able to protect those structures. Would not be surprised to just see YOLO run into that lane one more time. Rinse and repeat. See if they can get it done.
Well, Republic now back in the lane.
You can't dive Tav Kench. You can't dive a level 6 Lulu at this stage of the game. So why not just continue to focus that part of the map? Try and get Romantic behind. We've already seen that once he's pressured, he does struggle to keep up.
Yeah, it's very true. We did see that. It seems that, you know, game number 1, that's where Romantic able to get the work done.
Yeah,
2 and 3.
Shrines.
That's the difficult stage. Has proved himself on the Callista, though, last game. You can kill a lot of minions. Nobody else is in the lane. Crisis now just going back to his jungling as M3 try to set up here for this bottom lane. Savoki still threatening, and despite falling down for first blood, being able to grab that kill back is a big deal.
Really smart smite out of Mystic here. He's actually gone for the Wolf Spirit. That means he knows 100% if Crisis wants to take a similar counter gank path over that wall. So they've smited that away. Pink warded up the brush, going to shove the lane in one more time. Of course, Tristana does this naturally, so it's not suspect at all. And we'll see whether they're able to go for another play.
Yeah, there's a ward in here, though. Savoki, there's eyes on him. Of course, Romantic, pretty happy about being Ezreal at this stage. If you do use that rocket grab straight up, you can arcane shift out of the way.
Yeah, as I said, it's all Trundle. YOLO actually deciding to go back. There's nothing in his jungle. Actually pings out his red buff, so there is something in his jungle. So that's what he wants to go and grab.
It's an important bit.
We'll go do another rotation and see if he can get back down into the bottom lane.
And Raphael continuing to dominate here in the mid lane. And you've mentioned the fact that mid lane has been left a little bit on their own a lot of the time, especially in this sort of lane swappy mid and bottom lane focused game. And with the Republic falling behind in a 1v1 scenario, it's very good news here for M3 as far as making proactive plays is concerned.
Well,
because
that's a strange decision out of Crisis. Mid lane is being left alone, and Crisis definitely can't go for a gank right now because of how much of his jungle is available. You can see red and blue buff, but he decides to fire a shot from the bottom half of river into mid lane. Lets Raphael know exactly where he is. Would not be surprised if YOLO picks up this buff. Raphael continues to shove in, and then he just goes over to the blue and they challenge as a unit because, of course, Tahm Kench going to be able to use that ultimate to get down there much more efficiently.
Yeah, that's true. At the moment, they're going to have a long time to think about it as well, as we are back into a pause. We'll see whether we can get this one sorted out as quickly as possible. Of course, we did manage to get back into the game, which is good news. But we'll see exactly what the problem is and report back to you. But as the game is shaken out, things going a whole lot better for M3, especially in that mid lane in the 1v1. And the gank actually working out here for YOLO.
Yeah, exactly right. YOLO got his gank to work, and the Blitzcrank already paid dividends. So, you know, boom, there was a rocket grab. Like that one. But it was a 1v1 kill that really, to me, that's a good sign. When you start 1v1 killing, that means you're playing up and aggressive in lane.
Yeah.
And you see the response from then on in is just to continually shove that wave in, make Republic's life a little bit miserable. So Definitely good moves here by Raphael in the mid lane, and we'll see whether this Lulu and Tristana can get going, because that's the late game threat that they need if they're going to keep up with a Gangplank, an Ezreal, and a Victor.
Yeah, and it's actually really cool the fact that it's the Lulu getting ahead here, because even if the Tristana then falls a little bit behind, you've got a more powerful shield. You've got a more powerful way to really boost up this Tristana in the late game.
It's the movement speed.
Yeah, and the movement speed's stupid.
It's so funny. Like, when you think of, like, maximum AP on Lulu, like, the damage is there. She does great things. Shield is huge. Most useful thing as an AD carry is probably the movement speed, because you can chase for days, and it's very easy to dodge skill shots when you go in the speed of sound. So, you know, watch out for him to just be able to fly around the rift.
Yep, just ridiculous. The fact that the movement speed scales with AP is just ludicrous. Nami as well. It's another thing. It's just absolutely insane. Ladies and gentlemen, we are having a little bit of lag on EPA's end, so we're just making sure that we can sort that one out and get us back onto the rift. You can't have someone lagging. It's bad news.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but you don't want them to be. So, you know, that's why we're trying to sort it out, and we'll see if we can do so and get them back on the rift.
We'll actually have to see whether it's Republic that said so, because he was the one that was 1v1'd. And that may have been what he just wrote down in chat. It's lag. So we've paused it here just to see whether or not that was in fact the case.
I don't actually think we do that.
No, I don't think so either.
No.
But I just thought it was amusing. Probably shouldn't have. One of those times. We've spoken a lot here, Spawn. So we're just, I'm at the end. At the end.
Well, let me help you out a little bit.
Thank you.
When you have a team composition that is looking to scale up and, you know, just shove out waves, and they could see how much pressure was going to go to the bottom side of the map, I just want to hit on, you know, the Victor versus Lulu outplay a little bit more, because that opens up a very big hole on the mid side. And you see that the way that has actually impacted the map is that Crisis felt like he needed to make his presence shown. So even though he's level 6 on Rek'Sai, farming up very well for himself, even though his team's 2-0 down, the fact that he had to show mid lane just gives so much information right now over to M3. And you saw that the red buff had just been taken by YOLO, and straight away, he's on the backside of red buff. He's about to dash over a Baron wall and challenge on a blue buff invade for the second time in a row.
Yeah.
Hoping he doesn't headbutt a wall one more time. But if that is the case, Crisis has cost himself a buff just because of the fact that his mid laner Republic has started to fall behind against Raphael. So it's the little things in League of Legends that tell you exactly where, because at that point in the game, they didn't know whether he was going to go to the blue buff and hand it off straight away as that wave was bouncing back, or whether he was going to start his red buff off. Would have probably been smarter to be on the blue side of the map, because Graves had gone red to blue straight away, and you knew that Graves hadn't taken the red buff because he'd shown bottom lane. So I just honestly am questioning. This is a thing that I've always said about the EPA lineup. Good in laning phase. You know, they show that every now and again they can have brilliant flashy mechanics. They can catch people out, play pick games, League of Legends. What's their macro game of League of Legends like? Game 1, they showed that it can be good at times, and they played a very good starving game on the bottom half of the map. But this time around, that's a big fault that could bite them for it.
Yeah, it's a very, very dangerous time here to be an M3 fan. So we'll see exactly what happens as we move back into this one. Hopefully we are going to be able to sort out as much lag issues as we possibly can, get us back onto the rift. But I'm a little bit worried about, you know, YOLO moving into that jungle at the same time, because you mentioned the fact that Crisis was able to farm up quite well, and Raphael will be moving around. And we're talking about a Victor here. I mean, you put a Victor behind, he's still able to upgrade that Hex Core and clear out a minion wave. Is it too much of a big deal here?
Yeah, 100%. Like,
really?
So the fact that if you're under the turret, every single time he walks into the jungle and Lulu's able to leave because she's got no experience or gold to gain from the mid lane,
that's a good point.
Victor has to make a choice. Do I pick up the 100 gold from the minion wave, or do I walk into the jungle and help out my jungler? And every single time they make him make that choice, even if they secure the buff, that's 100 gold, a minion wave of experience that he falls behind just from having to go in there. And the fact that he got solo killed means that the Lulu can push up with Abandon and doesn't actually have to respect the power of the Victor at that stage. Can clear minion waves, but no way is he one-shotting a Lulu at this stage of the game. So that's a huge deal. Like, there's all of a sudden this big void of pressure in the mid lane where Victor Lulu, actually the wave clear goes in Victor's favor because he one-shots the backline. Lulu does not. She has to auto-attack them as well. So that's something that Republic definitely dropped the ball on.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate here for EP fans, but hopefully for M3 it means that they can find their way at least past this mid-game, get themselves to a point where they can demonstrate they can close out a game of League of Legends, which is exactly what they need to do. Meanwhile, the top side of the map was very, very even, as the old Gangplank and Tom Kench not really going to be doing too much to either of them are just going to stand around and farm.
They're going to shoot each other a little bit. Tahm Kench is going to eat some minions.
Yeah, licking people and shooting people.
Yeah, it's going to be a good top side of the map. But what you have to watch there is how ahead does Gangplank get in that matchup? Because if he's able to shove him underneath turret, hopefully Tahm starts missing out on some of that creep score. And if he's shoved under the turret, won't be able to use that teleport or the ultimate, the Abyssal Voyage, to get around the map and help out his allies. So as long as that lane is even, as we say about Gangplank so much, but even more so because they have a Trundle on their team to strip away Tahm's tankiness, that lane matchup at even is in EPA's favor. Yeah.
The other option there as well is the Cannon Barrage after level 6. I mean, Gangplank is still going to be there. If he's able to scale himself to a decent portion, then all of that sort of the wave clear option, the fact that it is a massive AoE slow anywhere on the map, that is going to be a big deal if they are going to start falling behind, which EPA already have started to, especially there in the mid lane.
Yeah, and Gangplank's damage is about 65-35. And that's so weird. 65% AD, 35% magic is what I'm talking about. Because when you think about it, he builds all AD items and only has one ability that does magic damage or true damage, which is his ultimate. But it's just that much of a zone and hits that hard and quickly as you start getting the upgrades into it that it's very impactful. So when you compare the two globals in the top lane, Gangplank hits anywhere on the map. He doesn't actually have to go there, so he can maintain pressure in his lane and does a heck of a lot of damage still. Pushing up the lane, definitely a good option to be able to be a Gangplank at that stage.
Yeah, and we'll see whether he's going to be able to do so. But definitely it still has that really expensive build. And you mentioned this in sort of a positive way, that if we make it to like 70 minutes into the game, you know, he's still going to be building his like 15th Infinity Edge moving forward. But he does take a while to get all of his items together, and especially like you build your Trinity Force, you have that, but then you need to have that crit, you need to have that Infinity Edge before you can start really doing your massive damage.
Yeah, and there's kind of a couple of ways that people like to build Gangplank at the moment, and that is, you know, with the CDR boots, the Trinity Force, and a Youmu's, you get 30% cooldown reduction, and that's a kind of good spot to be at Gangplank, very, very smooth. Or if you go for defensive boots, Trinity Force, and Essence Reaver, that's 40% off the bat, so you can go for that. Doesn't give you the armor penetration, or I guess the bonus of having some good attack speed if someone face checks a brush as Gangplank, being able to utilize that passive in the Youmu's. So we'll see which way they want to take it in this game. I prefer the Youmu's build right now. I just think it's really, really smooth to build into. You can start picking up Infinity Edge later. So if that is the case, he's strong at the Trinity Force, he's strong at the Youmu's Trinity Force and boot. So Gangplank, honestly, he kind of feels good at every stage of the game, apart from the no-item stage, which is why starting Mana Crystal and going into Cull doesn't necessarily make sense to me, because it just prolongs the no-item phase of the game.
This time, though, Gimgoon has decided to pick up the Corrupting Potion, which is going to work out just a little bit better.
Yeah, it certainly is, as we see some cherry blossoms falling over the Servitor's Rift Atlas.
I believe that was the Sad Amumu song.
Still in the pause, ladies and gentlemen. There is some lag on China's end. Still trying to resolve it.
Yeah, still trying to resolve the lag. But we are going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with us. We are going to be back with EPA taking on M3 as soon as we possibly can. With the fact that, you know, things didn't necessarily go so well early on, it's another 1v1 from Raphael, but this time he's got backup. Massive Chaos Storm comes in. Raphael's going to burn to death. Crisis picks up that kill. True Shot Barrage is here. XY has to flash out of the way. Savoki lands it, picks up the kill on Republic, and he's now in amongst the mix. He's going down very, very quickly as Gimgoon made his way across, wants to shoot the Blitzcrank if he can. XY running away with him. He's going to survive in the end. And EPA,
I'll practice with the Blitz. Good return damage out of Raphael and Republic.
Nicely done. Crisis, though, going to use that Void Rush to get in here. Nice ultimate for some zoning there as the knock up onto Crisis. He wanted to knock up Raphael. Not going to happen. Brilliant use of the Pillar, and Republic going to lock down the kill. Exhaust now onto YOLO. Uses his full rotation, able to get enough damage through so that Savoki could grab Crisis, and YOLO now just going to do the... Oh, misses it. Republic gets flashed on. He's going to be able to pick that one up in the end, and Jezza, he has to run out, and M3 managed to win the trade.
Yup.
And picked up already.
Here we go again.
As well. In he goes. Rocket jump down already. There's the flash rocket grab, but the jump out from Romantic's already there. The chomp from Jezza. They're trying to do what they can as Romantic's finding his way back in. Crisis is here as well. They want to get this Blitzcrank. He's going to explode with the damage from EPA. Flashes forward. The teleport's being used. Republic able to pick up a few of these minions at least. And 5 members of EPA collapsing on this outer turret in the bottom lane. They just seem to be able to get more from their engagements by the looks of things.
Anteq using everything aggressively there meant that there was really nothing else they can do. Feels safe to come up here. They have YOLO and Savoki available.
He wants the grab, finds it onto Crisis, going to get the knockup, but there's the ultimate out of the Gangplank. Savoki, you didn't want to do this, sir! He's going to fall down in the end. Really nicely played from EPA, and they read that one.
Yeah, no, it doesn't even
No,
work
it's
that way.
bad. It's bad, isn't it?
Oh,
Well, Crisis
again.
He's addicted to getting hooked here. The wild growth comes through, but look at the
Wow.
ultimate. The Gangplank always doing the work. Chaos Storm goes down as well. Raphael melts like butter. And XY, I mean, you don't do any damage, buddy. You got a bunch of health, but you are so dead, and Crisis still lives.
Yeah.
I knew that you'd
This
pick
one.
that one up. Knew you picked that one up. Just thought I'd utilize it. There we are. Jezza, though, he's going to get hit by that one. The exhaust goes down. Massive damage out from the True Shot Barrage as he tries to hit the Mystic Shot. Crisis is here too. Savoki, you are so low. Wild growth down on him just to make sure that he doesn't die from
YOLO.
incidental damage. Never go full YOLO, ladies and gentlemen, but this guy is going to. He gets destroyed, and Crisis tanking up the turret like it's doing nothing. Going out of fashion, as it were.
Now maybe Romantic has been called out.
Yeah, the ultimate goes down. More kiting to come through. The ultimate out of Raphael.
Wow.
Oh my, it's not enough. He's turned into a little critter. YOLO just gets Arcane shifted to the face, and Gimgoon's going to be able to pick up that kill. Barrels come down. XY, do you have enough grey health for this as M3 are scattering across the map?
Crisis still wants XY. Good
Yep,
hook.
nice hook, but that's a Chaos Storm they did not want to be under. There's no turret there either, as Republic's just going to turn it right around. Savoki, you don't want to be hooking that man. He's pretty angry, who gets eaten by a dead Tom Kench. It's an interesting interaction as he just sort of hopped on top of him.
So they hook Republic but cannot blow him up straight away. Thought they might have the damage. Instead, he's just able to completely destroy two people. 27 minutes in, that'll be the first inhibitor. They're looking for more.
Yeah, they're seeing whether they can take the game at this stage. EPA with the scaling comp, able to move forward at 28 minutes. Nexus turret number 1 falling down. PentaQ down to about half health. The Nexus to follow. YOLO trying to get in there. Got a lot of AoE potential here, but they're all focusing the Nexus. It's down. It's almost gone. Massive kills to come through from M3, but the only thing they're looking at on the side of EPA is the Nexus, and it gets destroyed.